Estamos agora próximos do encerramento da sessão. Para os key takeaways e conclusão da agenda, chamo novamente ao palco Christiaan van der Valk, Strategy and Regulatory Vice President da Sovos. Welcome again.
All right, so we've come to the end. My Portuguese is not as good as it should be, but I've tried to work with my colleagues a little bit to do a short wrap-up of things we've learned here during this event today. I think it's certainly not an exaggeration to say that I think we have all understood that it is that we're living in an interesting time, and that one shouldn't make the mistake of thinking that all of the tax requirements that are coming at us are about plumbing, because they are about meaning. They're about data. Data is, I think, the right summary of everything we've said here today. But maybe taking a little bit of a step back, another takeaway perhaps from all of this is that if you were in business and if you perhaps thought in the past that things like invoicing were a business process, I think you need to make that mental leap and now admit and start to work on the basis that it is an entirely regulated process. Invoicing is no longer something you do on the basis of what's good for your business. It's pretty much entirely scripted, increasingly, by the tax administration. So invoicing has become a regulated process. I think is an important takeaway from all of this. If you're a business, and I talked a little bit earlier about the move from subjective, declarative data reports to objective, verifiable, real-time source data. I talked about the move from interpretation to specification, if you remember the early part of this, this event. What that also means is that the tax function in companies needs to transform to take on board all of these technological skills. And of course, we've all witnessed the birth of tax technologists. As we have also established here, I think at this event, is that finding that combination of skills, finding the processes, and finding a new way of working with all of the different stakeholders in the business that are affected now by tax is a huge challenge. So there's a skills gap, and I think there's an experience gap in dealing with all of this new legislation that's coming at us. Then, of course, as I've said, and I think it's become very clear from all of the other presentations too, there are no two countries in this world, even though everyone's running in the same direction at a different speed. There's no two countries, and there never will be two countries in this world that have the exact same legislation. So a country will have its legislated, regulated invoicing and tax process until the end of times. So, you know, as much as certainly in Europe and the European Union, we will be looking at more harmonization, we will also still see fairly significant degrees of differences from one country to the next. And these things just need to be baked into our collective conscious as a profession, tax professionals, IT professionals, etc. Maybe one of the things we haven't talked too much about is that this transition to tax digitization and the importance of providing business information in flight, the source data, as it is transacted between business partners or even between departments in the same business sometimes, really has profound implications in terms of how many people need to be involved and informed of these changes in the business. Previously, a tax function in a European company or another country with VAT would, you know, being slightly disrespectful here, but be a bunch of people who sit in a room together and at the end of the month need to crank out a report, right? Now, a lot more people are impacted. For instance, I had a discussion about travel and expense management earlier with some of the participants here. You wouldn't think about it, but that is an AP automation function with massive tax implications that also need to be transformed on the basis of all the things we're seeing here. There is a large number of relationships that you might not think about, and there's a large number of internal stakeholders in every business that are going to have to participate in this overall transformation that we're facing. So I think those are important things. And then, of course, at the end of all of this, and I'm trying to be objective here, but I don't think I can, what the market is crying out for is a vendor that can take all this pain away from them, right? The internal teams are always going to have their responsibilities. You can't get away from that. Your data needs to be good. Your stakeholders need to be aligned. There's a lot of work that needs to be done within the enterprise. But what we are hearing as an overwhelming requirement from the market is, where are the vendors that can give us electronic invoicing, B2B, B2G, B2C, tax determination, reporting, whether that's real-time or SAFT in all these different countries, because we want to just make this somebody else's problem. There are not that many vendors that do this. We've made it our mission to be that vendor that you can trust across the board. So we're still on that mission. Nobody's perfect. It's definitely an interesting journey and a moving target. But we're working very hard as Sovos to make sure that we and our customers and our partners can deal with all of these changes that are coming at us. So that was my summary of what we've heard at the event today. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christiaan. Encerramos agora a sessão e convidamos todos a participar no Network Cocktail que vai ser servido de imediato. Esperamos que este evento tenha sido enriquecedor e do agrado de todos. Contamos convosco em futuras iniciativas. Muito obrigada em nome da Sovos.